Hello again, everyone. I'm Daniel, the cross-cultural nerd, here with another video for you today. Apologies for the relative lack of content over the last 2 weeks. I've been quite a bit busier than normal over the last couple weeks. Just to give you an idea, I've had a lot of meetings in my main job, more so than normal. They're um, tightening the criteria for quality teaching, which is a good thing. But at the same time, there's been lots of meetings and stuff, and both at that job and at my main side job. And speaking of side jobs, I've taken two more, once a week, granted, but they still do take time to prepare for. One of them is doing one class at another small independent language school, and then the other one is privately tutoring a kid, which is pretty fun. This kid's English isn't super good, but this one's smart, and I think this kid will go far. A middle schooler, 12 years old. So, and yeah, so I've been doing that. Last weekend, one of my British friends went on vacation for the weekend, and I took his classes on Sunday at his language school. So that was a nice bit of extra money in my pocket. Um, but yeah, that kept me busy all day on Sunday. And then there's just life in general. Life comes at you fast, you know. So apologies. I need to make some more content, and I got a backlog of Elder Scrolls Legends videos up, which I've been waiting for glitches and kinks to be ironed out before I play the new update for the first time. Direwolf Digital is not doing it anymore. The full update is in it. It's done by Sparky Pants Studios now, so I'm looking forward to playing that. I've heard decent things about the interface, and there have been several glitches reported. So again, I'm hoping they're mostly ironed out by the time I play. I'm gonna try to do it this week or next week. So I'm excited. Anyway, on to the topic. Um, Recently, I was going to class, walking to my class, and got to thinking about gaming, and got to mentally comparing video games and tabletop games. And I love gaming. I've been a gamer since I was a kid, and got my first console in middle school, and been a very avid gamer all through my life from around the age of 9 or 10. And I hope to be a father one day. My wife and I both really, really want kids. We are not pregnant yet, so don't worry. I mean, that came out wrong. Why would you worry about that? Anyway, don't go crazy. Is kind of what I meant. We'll do an announcement when the time comes, but we're not pregnant yet. But we do hope that our future children get to like our hobbies, and I think all parents want their kids to enjoy what they enjoy, because that's something good that they can share with their children, a way they can spend time together and have fun doing it, you know? It's good when you have something in common. And as a gamer, I do hope my children get into gaming. Of course, especially regarding video games, we will set some kind of time limit because we don't want the kids going overboard. In hindsight, I'm glad my parents set a time limit on my GameCube time. But I definitely plan to get my kids involved in tabletop gaming, like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Savage Worlds, Star Wars Saga Edition, that sort of thing. And I say this because after thinking about it, I've noticed that there are some definite advantages that I believe tabletop gaming has over video games. And let me go into them. I'm going to talk about three in particular. Number one, tabletop gaming, especially tabletop role-playing games, really kickstart your imagination. There's a lot of, I believe there's a ton more use of your brain and your imagination than there is in video games. Now, you can go into a role-playing game and play it as if you were that character, but in a lot of other games, it's pretty much see what's on the screen and shoot at it, or other things like that. I mean, there are strategy games too, but That's not quite what I'm talking about. I'm talking mostly about the imagination. With video games, you see what is on the screen and you react to it. It's very visual. In tabletop gaming, and these RPGs like D&D, you hear what the game master, what the dungeon master is saying, and you imagine it happening in your head, and you imagine your character responding to that, and you, of course, say that, call that out, and everyone else hears that and imagines that happening. And I believe that role-playing games like D&D have the same advantages over this same advantage over video games, kind of like how reading a book has that advantage over watching TV and movies. Because you're not just watching it happen, you hear it and you imagine it happening, and it exercises that the imaginative parts of your brain. And that's very healthy. It's healthy for anyone. Studies have shown that playing pretend as a kid is good for the kid, and this is basically playing pretend with more structure. So that's one reason. Number two, and this is kind of related, it is intellectually quite stimulating, especially if you have a good DM. Because, again, it kickstarts the imagination, and also there's strategy you have to get through. You might have to coordinate your party members' abilities in such a way that you can defeat an enemy squad of of soldiers or something, or get through a series of traps in creative ways. And I do know that video games have a lot of strategic value as well. You got puzzle games like Portal and Cube and stuff like that. You've got other strategy games other than chess, such as Civilization and Command and Conquer, Battle for Middle Earth, that sort of thing. But I this also calls back to part number one. It's the imagination bit that kind of makes it a little better, I think. And especially if you're the dungeon master, the game master, because if you are not using a pre-made adventure, you are creating all this. So it's not just the player solving a puzzle, it's the DM creating these puzzles. It's the DM creating these challenges that the players have to overcome. And that requires a lot of brain power. So if your DM's good, the better your DM, the more mentally stimulating it's going to be. And I love that. Number three, my last advantage of tabletop role-playing games is they're very social. Now, this flies right in the face of the common stereotype of the 80s and 90s, where it was basically a massive hit to your social cred if it was known that you played D&D. It's unpopular, and it was often the tabletop gamers who were viewed more as the basement-dwelling neckbeards than the video game players were. And, I mean, yeah, video games can be quite social. Maybe not so much if you're playing some single-player game, but local multiplayer, yeah, you're playing with actual people. However, you are mostly focused on the screen. You could be playing online, which is great. But again, you're often focused on what's on the screen and calling out stuff to help out with that. With tabletop role-playing games, it's several people sitting in a room around a table or on the floor or something, face to face, interacting, both in and out of character. And honestly, it's one of the most social things you can do. It's not some big party with lots and lots of people, but at the same time, I mean, small groups are quite good. A lot of people do better in small groups anyway. Sometimes super big social events with dozens of people and hundreds of people, especially to some of the more introverted, it can be a bit much. Can tire someone out mentally. So I've heard. Introverts, please comment below about that. Okay, I've just uh, that's what I've read. Uh, but still, there's that social interaction between like three, four, five, six people, or maybe more, and I think that that much face-to-face interaction is very much an advantage that tabletop RPGs have over video games. So that's three: the kickstarting of your imagination, the intellectual stimulation, and also the social interaction. And I really want my kids to have a good dose of all three of those things because I want them to have good brains growing up. Of course, I'm going to keep them in their studies. My dad held my feet to the fire when I was growing up regarding studies, and I'm very glad he did. And I will do the same. But I want my kids to have fun, and I want my kids to have fun in a way that exercises this. So, if you don't play, please do. Try it out. More videos on D&D at a later time. I still have races to cover. I got classes to cover. I've got some stuff planned. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, any questions about anything regarding the video, regarding me, regarding the channel, please leave a comment in the comments section below, and I will reply as soon as I can after I see it. And don't forget, please follow me on Facebook at The Cross Cultural Nerd and on Twitter at XCulturalNerd. I'm Daniel, The Cross Cultural Nerd, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.